Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Pitch Talk.
We are fans of football dropping vlogs, videos and podcasts on the beautiful game.
Check out our videos on YouTube and Instagram's IGTV,
including special feature segments,
5 minutes with the G,
the Straight Shootin View,
coaching with JBK. We produce, record and edit video content
and audio on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
Verbal, Podomatic,
Anchor,
Spotify
and other podcast platforms.
Join the Pitch Talk revolution on Twitter, Instagram,
Facebook
and www.pitch-talk.com.
The pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk.
I can see you now. I can see you now and then. I can see you now.
The Straight Shootin View.
Hey, what is up, people? My name is Straight Shootin LJA, and welcome to another episode of the Straight Shootin View. Now, I want to talk about, talking, because there have been a few people talking, but then some making sense, some not making sense. So, I'm going to call this one Drogba, Klopp, talking smack in the dictionary, because I'm going to leave the dictionary one till last, but I'm going to start off with Jurgen Klopp, because Jurgen Klopp recently has been quoted as, he was asked somewhat of a leading question about how can you compete with Manchester City, and his answer was a very interesting one, because I'm not going to quote him word for word, but he essentially said, how can anybody compete with that level of financial might? And when you're backed by a state, when you're backed by a country, how do you compete with that? And really and truly, you actually can't. And, you can't compete financially. So on the pitch, you kind of have to find other ways to compete. And I was in total agreement with Klopp's comments, because he did say that there's about 3 teams in the world who can literally do what they want financially. And you could tell he was talking about Manchester City, PSG, and he actually did mention Newcastle as well. And you know what? He's actually not the first one who has said this. Arsene Wenger has said it about Paris Saint-Germain before, where it's kind of like, if you've got a country, if you've got an entire state backing you, then you can literally do anything. And I've said this before on episodes of the Straight Shootin View too, where talking about FFP and FFP being changed to the financial sustainability, and it's like, you literally, UEFA are so selective with their punishments. I mean, you got to remember as well, they've investigated Manchester City and Paris Saint-Germain twice each. But Man City got cleared and got off scot-free, and Paris Saint-Germain's latest one just kind of frittered away. And it's kind of like, okay, cool, we'll see. But, I mean, even so, back in the day, Michel Platini, not long after he actually came up with the concept, gave away his biggest bargaining chip, saying that he didn't want to throw teams out of tournaments. So it is one of them. Was the creator of FFP has damaged it more than anybody else and made it a joke. And for me, it's one of them where it's just like certain teams, are allowed to literally do anything. And historically, the Premier League teams have not been able to agree on a proper version of FFP, because obviously a team like Manchester City, 12% or 15% of their operating of their owners' wealth being able to be funneled into the club, that's going to be a lot more than say Burnley or Everton or other Crystal Palace. It's going to be a lot more. So even that leveling of the playing field wouldn't necessarily be a leveling of the playing field. But for me as well, it's like what Jurgen Klopp has said was true. Arsene Wenger has said it. Javier Tebas has talked about financial doping as well. And you guys know I'm not a fan of him. I've done 2 Straight Shootin View episodes calling out Javier Tebas, considering he's an out loud and proud Real Madrid supporter. So I'm not an advocate of his either. But in terms of talking, and I said agree wholeheartedly with what Jurgen Klopp has said. And Liverpool, we've been competing with City for the past 5 years, where you just look at the backlines. Ours cost something like 156 million or something like that, and Man City's is like 350 something. And it's like, when you look at those eye-watering stats and you think, wow. And I've said it to actually Nathan Arsenal, JBK and the G-Man, where it's like, really and truly, nobody should be anywhere near Manchester City considering their financial might. Nobody. And it's a minor miracle that Liverpool over the past 5 years, we've kept up as much as we have. Because it's one of them where it's just like, you look at it and you think to yourself, at least someone's keeping it interesting. Because no one else has gotten close to Man City in the past 5 years. Arsenal are doing it now in the first half of this season, and props to them. And I hope they can keep it up. If not us, I hope Arsenal can keep it up. Because obviously they've been through a building period, a renovation period, if you want to call it that, and they've been rebuilding. And they've done it by kind of implementing youth players and integrating them into squads. Every now and then they make a marquee signing, but they've, in my view, gone about it the right way. So if not us, I hope it's Arsenal. But staying in London, actually, I want to talk about Didier Drogba and some of his recent comments about Todd Boelhy coming into Chelsea, kind of like a wrecking ball, getting rid of Tuchel as quickly as he did, and obviously Tuchel's staff as well. Now, Didier Drogba was recently quoted by beIN Sports as saying, oh, well, Chelsea have lost their way a bit. Oh, they used to have... I'm not going to quote him verbatim, but he was like, oh, well, Chelsea used to have a certain class about when they used to terminate people, and oh, I don't see that with Todd Boelhy, and oh, they like Chelsea need to go back to their foundations of, like they were when I was there. And it's like, what foundations? What values when you were there? It's like, dude, you realise Roman Abramovich was forced to sell Chelsea because of his links to an authoritarian Russian regime, right? You do realise that. So you want to talk about foundations and values and criticise Todd Boelhy? I think you need to wind your neck in. And look at the whole situation with Dr. Eva Carnero. Once again, Didier, I think you want to wind your neck in about talking about values and like foundations. Abramovich had, 14, 15 managers during his time at Chelsea? So, yeah, I think you might want to wind your neck in, son. But this is one thing that does annoy me, is that you do get some of these former players talking out of both sides of their neck just to stay relevant. Gabriel Agbonlahor is one. He loves to talk smack, but I'm not even going to go down that road yet. I might do a Straight Shootin View on Gabriel Agbonlahor and some of the things he's come out with, because he likes to talk smack. And as well, I mean, Didier Drogba's comments, I said, were just the epitome of irony. Like Gary Neville trying to call out stuff in Qatar, and now he's recently signed on to be an ambassador for him and working for one of their TV networks. I said, dude, pick a side. Well, you work for Sky Sports, so we know what side you're on. So it's one of them where it's just it is just insane. And I said, Drogba talking about we used to have foundations and values. What? It's like, so you're criticising Todd Boelhy for getting rid of Thomas Tuchel so quickly, but you were around when, look at what happened with Di Matteo. Look at what happened with Andre Villas-Boas. Look how quickly they got the sack. So yeah, Drogba, as much as I respect you, wind your neck in, son. You're looking hypocritical right about now. But you know what? I wanted to leave this one till last, because Two phrases that have entered the footballing lexicon in the last 10 to 15 years and are used all the time: squeaky bum time and park the bus. And these two phrases have now been immortalized in the Oxford English Dictionary. And I love that. I wanted to end on something fun, but you know what? Squeaky bum time and park the bus. Now, park the bus obviously was not coined by Jose Mourinho, but it's largely attributed to him because he was the biggest exponent of that type of football. Go 1-0 up, park the bus. Done. And squeaky bum time was one of them ones where Alex Ferguson, a lot of people used to say, oh, it's Fergie time. But squeaky bum time, it is tremendous that these two particular phrases have been immortalized in the English dictionary. I think that's fun because at the end of the day, it's good to see that the dictionary, the Oxford Dictionary, which has been around for a long, long time, is trying to keep up with the times by using phrases and immortalizing phrases, as I said, that are in the general lexicon of the general public. So I actually quite like that. I think tiki-taka is in there as well. Total football, that was unofficially coined by Johan Cruyff. I think those two are in there as well. So I think it's good to see that. And it shows football's impact on society, and that football can have a positive impact on society, that these words and these phrases have entered the lexicon, and they can be, in theory, can be used for other things. So, part of the bus is a bit more specific, but it is one of them ones where squeaky bum time is like, oh, we're getting into squeaky bum time here, oh, I hope everything comes through all right. You could use that in other ways as well. So, I'm glad. I'm actually really glad for this. And it's a bit of fun. I like it. It's a bit of fun. But you know what? Let me know what you think. Squeaky bum time and also park the bus. Do you think they should be in the Oxford English Dictionary? Or should they not be? Should it be a bit more serious? Also, Didier Drogba and his comments about Chelsea having a certain class about how they used to do things when he was there. Is he talking out of both sides of his neck? I certainly think so. And also Jurgen Klopp's comments about certain teams being able to do whatever they want financially. Is this because of the powers that be in football? Is it encouraged? Is he telling the truth? I personally think he is. Some may think he's making up excuses, but I think he's telling the truth. But hey, I want to know your views. www.pitch-talk.com is the official website. Facebook.com/pitch-talk. Become a fan, become a friend, become a member of the group. Join the footballing revolution we are working so hard to create. At Pitch Talk on Twitter. Tweet with us, follow us, see what we're up to. At Pitch Talk on Instagram. And also at Pitch Talk on Reddit. We're also on TikTok as well. We've got some little clips up there. Also, youtube.com/Pitch Talk for all of our videos, including our Cup Finals series and much, much more. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Ghana, GAANA, Verbal, VURBL, and so many other places. TuneIn Radio, Player FM. Grab that RSS feed from our website or listen directly through our website or catch it wherever you catch your podcast. The Pitch Talk podcast is out there for the world to hear. You know what? I have been Straight Shootin LJA, and I will see you next time on the Straight Shootin View. Take care, babes.
Join the Pitch Talk revolution.
Check out the official Pitch Talk website.
www.pitch-talk.com. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Pitch Talk.
We are fans of football dropping vlogs, videos and podcasts on the beautiful game.
Check out our videos on YouTube and Instagram's IGTV,
including special feature segments,
5 minutes with the G,
the Straight Shootin View,
coaching with JBK. We produce, record and edit video content
and audio on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
Verbal, Podomatic,
Anchor,
Spotify
and other podcast platforms.
Join the Pitch Talk revolution on Twitter, Instagram,
Facebook
and www.pitch-talk.com.
The pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk.
I can see you now.